Well, there's that music again. And good evening. It's Monday, August 4th, 2025. Welcome to episode 120 of Porterhouse and Teal Live. And we've got Skane's girl who's running in and out of the house in between mowing her lawn, and London's asking about purple thingies.
That's quite the mix.
Yeah, that is quite.
Skane's girl, I have to say, I've missed you in London. I always love seeing you.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what the purple thingies are. I could make up a story, though, if you'd like me to.
Yeah, well, thanks for stopping in and joining us. And we hope that everybody has had a fantastic week. And I will say for me personally, it has been a very productive week. And that's something I haven't been saying a lot of lately. But I think that there's several factors that has contributed to this, which we'll talk a little bit more about once we get into the Homestead update portion of tonight's broadcast. But first things first, Rebecca, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing pretty good. I am glad that my fingers don't stick anymore. So that's a bonus. And getting back into my routine of getting everything done. You know, I like having things in order. Mm-hmm. I'm one of those people. But did you know today is our nephew's birthday?
I did not know that. How old?
Now that's a good question.
See, I guess you didn't know either.
He's got to be about 30, I'm going to guess, 29 to 30.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah. What else is going on? Anything good in the hood?
I would have to say not too much.
Has it been a productive week for you?
It has been a productive week for me.
Yeah.
But you always ask me how I am. How are you?
Man, I'm good. I think I've had a lot of optimism this week, just getting a lot of things done. But yeah, I feel good. And everything's going well here on the homestead. So I got nothing to complain about. And I don't think that even if I did have something to complain about, it really wouldn't do me any good. So why not just move forward and keep pressing the rinse and return button. Right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Sometimes it feels good to get it off your shoulders. Go ahead, complain.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, let's see. Oh, London says maybe the purple thing is a rating thing for YouTube. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Is there something purple showing up, London? I have no idea. It's interesting. Last broadcast, I had played a video that caused the content to be flagged. It actually, they said you can't even watch it. And so I actually went back through and edited that video and pulled that chunk that they said was some kind of a inappropriate piece or copyrighted content or what have you. So the last part of the video might be missing some of what we were talking about and what we had originally done in the live stream. But nevertheless, don't forget that you can always go over to Spotify and catch the unedited versions there, because YouTube seemingly has still a heartburn with some of the things that are said and some of the ways that people put out content. But I don't have that problem so much over on Spotify. So if that's something that you are interested in, go over there and get the unedited version. Mm-hmm. Do you listen to Spotify at all, Rebecca?
So here's what I've learned. Eric has Spotify, and we went ahead and he put it in the car. And I've noticed that when I get in the car, what I have to listen to is on something that I completely did not choose. However, it was what I was hearing when I left the house because you were watching Spotify.
Right. No, I was listening to Spotify. It's an audio podcast.
Right. So you were listening to it.
Right. And our phones are both the key to the car. And so for whatever reason, it's not differentiating between your phone and my phone. So I guess it was just bleeding over.
Well, I get to listen to it if you have paused it and you're not listening. So it comes up but it doesn't play if you're physically listening to it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting. And then I was wondering if there's ever, or if you paid attention to going back into a podcast that you were listening to, if it was in a different spot from when you paused it.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't paid that close of attention to it, quite honestly.
It should have, because I would have been listening to it because I had the opportunity to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
So it should have put you at a different spot.
Maybe, quite possibly. London says the purple heart thing is a rating thing for YouTube. And Scainsgirl said some kind of crown that shows first, third of the top contributors during the live. You earn XP points for different things. Huh. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. I'll probably have to look into that. I'll ask Grok about it. If there's some kind of a rating for, people who watch your live or whatnot, and I'm sure they'll break it down there. But
well, not YouTube, sorry about that. Yahoo was doing a thing where if you listen to your emails and you deleted them, they were scoring you. And then it would say, congratulations, you met your goal. I have no idea what that was because it just happened.
Okay. Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Exciting.
Woo.
Yeah. Okay. So London says that Facebook does it too with their rating system. Yeah. I'll have to look into that. I don't know what it's all about, but I actually noticed that on some people who make comments and show up on the channel. They have little different things next to their name or whatnot. So I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. But hey, welcome guys. And we're going to jump into a quote, Rebecca. This is a liberal or conservative quote. And we'll see what you think. Tell me if you think this is a liberal person or somebody who is more conservative minded. Let's see where my mouse is here. Okay. The quote goes as such: the least productive people are usually the ones who are most in favor of holding meetings. Liberal or conservative?
The least productive people are the ones who are
most in favor of holding meetings.
I'm going to say liberal.
Okay. Why would you say that?
It just consumes time without getting anything done.
And you think liberals are all about not getting anything done and just wasting time?
If it's not in their favor, I do.
Yeah. You don't think conservatives would do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some conservatives maybe, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It actually came from Thomas Sowell. And Thomas Sowell is quite the conservative. I agree with a lot of what Thomas Sowell has to say. He's very brilliant, at least from what I gather and what I've seen of him. And I think a lot of people have that opinion of Thomas Sowell as well. But that's actually a quote that I don't agree with wholly. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Do you agree with that or do you not agree with that?
Well, I think it's important to have meetings, but you don't want an overabundance of meetings where that's all you're doing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that it's important to, if you're somebody who's a leader, if you're running a business or you are the boss of whatever size organization and you have a collective of people assembled, I think that it's important that you have meetings. I think that it's important that you so everybody's on the same page. Everybody knows kind of how we're moving forward in this collective of people. And so I think meetings are important, but to your point, excessively meeting and wasting time is not the way to go.
Yeah. I know when I was working, we would have a monthly meeting, which was nice because you could sit there and you could talk about what everybody was doing, kind of maybe somebody learned a new way to handle something and they could pass it on.
Yeah. Scainsgirl says meetings to discuss meetings.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would be a problem in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Thomas Sowell says London has a gifted mind, and he really does. The guy's quite brilliant. He's got a lot of good philosophical points, and I agree with him on a lot of conservative values and issues that he brings up. But that one is a quote that I don't necessarily, it doesn't resonate with me that much because it, as I said, hey, what's up? Bill Zegley, Lewisburg, Tennessee in the house.
Hello.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us tonight. If you have a bunch of people, at some point, what's going to happen is somebody's going to start steering the car. And unless that person has a good plan, other people are going to either veer from that plan, and you're going to have a fracturing of your group, and you're going to have not a collective of people anymore. It's a bunch of individuals just kind of doing whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's how things get really, really sideways when you don't have those expectations clearly drawn out for people, because people want boundaries and guardrails as much as we all want our freedom. People want to know, hey, this is the parameters for which I am to operate. Mm-hmm. And if you as a supervisor and a boss don't do that for your employees, you're a shitty boss. I'm just going to say it straight up. You got a shitty boss, or you are a shitty boss. It's incumbent upon you to get people together, have a meeting so everybody's on the same page, and now say, well, let's go and get it done. Let's go to work.
And you'll end up with more productive employees.
Of course, you give them some ownership within the parameters of what they are supposed to do and let them drive their operation. That's all really anybody wants as an employee, mm-hmm. right? But they don't want to be working for an organization or in a collective of people where it's just nothing but chaos. You will have a failed group of individuals if you don't have leadership, right? Mm-hmm. And whether that's in building an intentional community, a group of like-mindeds, right? If you don't have that, somewhat of a loose organization to say these are what we're going to be doing within this, but occasionally get together and discuss that so you can all be on the same thing. So meetings are important.
They are.
And not to be dismissed.
Yes.
So Thomas Sowell, I don't agree with that. Let's just say. Yeah.
So one of the things I was going to do is give a shout out to our oldest daughter, who is an equine vet. And she has started a webpage. She does internal medicine for horses, mm-hmm. as well as one of her specialties is foals. And so there's, I believe 9 different on her webpage right now of things to look for in your foals that are where they're on the right track, or you should take them to a vet. So if anybody has horses out there, she's a great reference to go and check.
Yeah, well, where can they find her?
I'm sorry.
You mentioned our daughter, but
I did.
Where
I
can
forgot.
people out on the internet land find her, Rebecca? What's her webpage, or what's her whatever?
Her webpage is Full-Time Vet. Full being spelled FOAL, and then
so not full-time vet, but full-time vet.
Full.
Oh, that's a play on words. How
that
catchy!
Is.
How catchy.
.com.
Right. Is there any other place that she can be found? Instagram or any?
She can be found on Instagram, and she's underneath the same name as Full-Time Vet.
Okay. Yeah. Well, horse people.
So if there are people out there who have horses or have questions about a large animal, she may be able to answer something on large animals. Yeah. Because while she was in vet school, she did have to do more than horses.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things I loved to tease her about was the llamas. Or alpacas. And of course, the llamas had to come in pairs. So we always teased her that she was going to get spit on. But luckily it never happened.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, it has been a much more productive week around here on the homestead. And I feel good about that. It's great. And I think that there are several things that has contributed to that for me. One is cooler temperatures the last couple of weeks, I would say. It hasn't been blazing hot here in the valley, which was what we typically experience in the summer. However, Rebecca advised me this morning that I think temperatures are getting ready to climb yet again. They're supposed to be about 107 by the weekend, and then for about a week about that temperature. So it'll be a little toasty, but it's been nice here. And another factor that's allowed me to be more productive is less screen time. I've made a concerted effort to, just not check my phone, not be distracted from my phone when I'm out doing things, right? It's very easy to just pull your phone out and either listen to media or, consume, if you will, and it distracts you from what you're doing. And so there's been less screen time for me. So I've been more engaged in what I'm doing outside and more focused on that. So that's a really good thing. And the other thing is I've had a real desire to automate some things around here. And there's been a little bit of a hesitation on my part to do that in the chicken yard. And one of the reasons why is because we have 3 coops. One of the 3 coops was outside of the chicken yard. Mm-hmm. So it's just outside is where it was located. And so what I had always wanted to do is basically kind of automate things regarding the water, and then automate the chicken doors so that they will open automatically and close automatically at night, which is going to lessen the amount of workload on you, because you primarily are the ones that's putting the chickens up at night. I let the chickens out in the morning. And it's just it's a step that we won't have to engage in now that this week I got motivated to just say, today's the day, and I'm going to move this coop inside of the yard. Mm-hmm. And so what that's actually done is it's made it a little bit tighter quarters in there. We've lost that real estate due to the footprint of this coop, which is 8 feet by 6 feet. However, it fits in there nicely, provided now that I've taken out a tree.
Yeah.
which that tree, I'm not heartbroken by it, because it was a nice tree, but it was in the wrong place.
It made it a little bit difficult to get the coop exactly where we needed it, because it was in the way.
Well, no, I mean the coop
the branches were in the way.
Yeah, I mean it would have been tight, and there would have been no sense in me keeping it there. So I just took it out, cut my losses with that particular tree, and opened up a little bit of space. But I started today trying to work on the watering system, and I kind of had a fail. I'm going to have to come up with a different solution on my watering scenario, how I've got that set up, because it's a little too high pressure for what I had envisioned, mm-hmm. and it's leaking. So I got to come up with a different way to deliver the water, but it's just going to require me reconfiguring my thought process there. But I also installed one of those doors today, and that's going to be fantastic for you at night. You don't have to worry about going out and putting them up, other than maybe just, putting their feet in or whatever, and then they can put themselves up.
So I still have to go out at night?
Not necessarily. Because
I need to feed them.
I can do that if you don't want to do it. I can do it.
No, I actually enjoy talking to them and feeding them. So
okay,
it's not an issue.
Okay.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, if you don't want to do it, I'll do it. But anyhow, I got that in because I think it's going to lessen the workload on both you and I. Mm-hmm. And so it's just been an evolution in that yard. And I did start shooting some content. I don't know to what extent I'm going to compile and edit the content into something, but I have had a lot of people who've indicated they like seeing what's going on with the chickens, with the composting chicken yard. And so I've started shooting a little bit of content just to kind of document the evolution thereof. But I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So there was one the other day when I was out there, and she was just tickled with herself running around, and everybody was chasing her. She looked like she had a big old fat tomato worm, and she might have been a tomato worm. just running around with that in their
Mhm.
mouth, and everybody was running after,
Doing what chickens do.
doing what chickens do.
Yeah. 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 So we'll try to keep those videos coming. London, I appreciate the comment. Says that composting are always good videos. So I don't know. It's been bothering me not being able to do that. And it's nice now having that coop inside the yard. So all three will reside in there. It'll provide a little bit extra security as well. But yeah, what do you think?
I don't think they're suffering from it,
What do you mean?
losing that little space
No.
for the coop to be in there.
No, they won't. I just need to
They
shift
seem to be.
some compost around to make, a little bit more space. And
Other than we do have a hen that thinks she's a rooster.
yeah, we have some of those because we don't have roosters, and they're going to become dominant, right? It's called the chicken pecking order.
Sits up with her head up high and
Yeah.
picks on the others.
Yeah, that's what they do.
So I was over visiting our daughter, and she was telling me all about her gardening plans. She didn't do one this year, but she's really enjoys doing it. And so she was telling me that she, along with flowers, so she does the same thing as you. She's got her plants, and then she also incorporates flowers into it. But one of the neighbors came by and gave her some aloe vera. And she's really not into cactuses. But what she was saying is that she got into succulents. It was the cutest thing because the 1-year-old grandson came and he had picked the flower off one of the succulents and had handed it to me. And that kind of opened up the conversation to, you should start succulents. And so she had picked some off. So I have a couple of them out there.
Don't
see how well they
don't let them dry
hold.
out. Are they in a place where you're giving them water frequently?
They're in a place where when you turn on the sprinkler, they get water.
Okay. Yeah. Don't let them dry out because they won't last. They like water.
Yeah.
Succulents. That's why they call them succulents. Yeah, they don't do well without water. But anyhow, we've got on deck for this Friday here at the Homestead. I'm happy to report we've got the return of Frank the Kill Guy. And Frank's going to come out and he's going to put down 3 hogs.
Dinky hogs.
Yeah, going to put down 3 hogs for us. And I'm considering possibly rolling some more footage on that because, truth be told, last time Frank was out here about a year or so ago, I created a video where he put down a steer for us. And that video is my most watched video of all time. It's up to like 600,000 some videos, and it's getting probably, I don't know, 200 a day. And it's a 16-minute video. So one would think, man, 600,000 views, you must be making a lot of money on that. You know how much money I've made on that? I've made $24 on that video. And that's because the only thing that they're paying me for is when it gets shown on YouTube Premium. When people have a YouTube Premium subscription and they watch that video, then they get to see, then I get paid from the ad revenue, but it doesn't somehow rise to that level on just YouTube free.
Yeah.
So interesting, but I might roll another video because Frank is a consummate professional. And for some reason, people really do like to see, I guess, unedited butchering videos. And I have no problem showing them to people, despite the fact that I won't make any money on them. That's fine.
Well, it is where your food comes from.
Yeah. And it's not what this channel's about. This channel isn't about me making money or building a business. It was about sharing information about what we're doing here on the homestead. And if that means showing the unedited version of something that is real, how your food possibly gets to your table or gets to the butcher shop, that's what we're going to do. So you might see another video from Frank the Kill Guy, and we'll see if YouTube has the balls to let me roll it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think they should.
I think they should as well.
But as we've stated before in other videos, that's what I was grown up with, having a father who was a butcher. So I'm used to it.
Yeah.
Our kids are pretty much used to it.
Yeah. London Pickering says, we finally got our first broody hen. Kind of excited. Oh, good, man. That's awesome. It's pretty cool when they hatch their own stuff. I don't know. Do you have a special spot for London? Because it's kind of nice to be able to isolate the bird and just let the bird be with her eggs and not have to fight off the other hens that want to get in there with her. Mm-hmm. And that's generally that's what I always did whenever I would identify one that was broody, is just kind of scoop her up and put her in her own area and just give her food and water and just let her sit on her eggs for 21 days. And then she'll be happy when they all start cheeping, I'm
kind of surprised that we've only had 2.
No, we've had more than that, but we didn't have any in this last batch. They're getting old, and I don't think they really.
Well, they don't have a rooster, so nothing would happen with the eggs.
No, they wouldn't at this point, but they're still not going broody.
They're not.
Right.
They do like to hoard the eggs, though, for a while.
Okay. Yeah. London said that she's in her own space and she's protected. So that's the way to do it, man. That's cool. You have to let us know how they come out. What are you brooding up? What different varieties of chickens are you making? It's always kind of fun to see what you get on the other end. Mm-hmm.
And hopefully they're not all roosters.
Yeah, that's always fun. Yeah. So I guess for us here, it's kind of that period of time where things are starting to slow down. The summer season annuals that we've planted, are warm annual crops that we're harvesting vegetable wise. We're still obtaining a yield, but it's just not in the amount that we were early when they first started producing for us, which kind of leads us to having a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So to make the time worthwhile for processing, Rebecca combines some of the harvest, whether it's freeze drying or canning or whatnot. So I don't know. I had asked Rebecca to capture some of what she did yesterday regarding that. So there may be a video on that. I don't know. I haven't seen what she shot. I don't know if it's going to be worthy of that, as she has advised me. So we'll just kind of see if it's something that's worth editing and putting out for people. But I had a few people who had asked, hey, what are you pickling? And we'd like to see that. Mm-hmm. And so why don't you just talk about it briefly, Rebecca, about, what your process is for the things that you combine and what you maybe had done yesterday, since we had a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So
I had just kind of a little mound of tomatoes, same with bell peppers, some beets and some onions. And obviously with the tomatoes, I put the tomatoes, the bell peppers and the onions all together and mixed in some oregano to make it an Italian style canned tomatoes, which is really good for spaghetti sauce because you've already got some of your items in there that you would normally add. They're already joined together. I believe the person who asked about the beets, pickling and canning the beets, which is a super easy process. I had a small amount of those. So instead of doing them in quart-sized jars, I did them in pint to take up the room in the canner. And that process goes actually pretty easy. And it doesn't really take a whole lot. The recipe that I follow, it's just kind of vinegar, sugar, an herb, whichever you choose, some canning salt, and whatnot. Yeah, I think and whatnot and whatnot. What is whatnot? Where do you get that, and how much does it cost? I don't specifically have it right in front of my hand and
Whatnot. Whatnot.
Good stuff like that. But there's a variety of different things that you can use as far as your herbs. I use allspice because allspice has a flavor of clove and a flavor of cinnamon. So you kind of get the best of both worlds as opposed to doing one or doing the other.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I look forward to, consuming that stuff all winter. I appreciate you putting it up. It's obvious you don't like to eat them. So you're primarily doing that for me, but they are very delicious and nutritious.
One of the things I want to say though with this recipe is it tells you when you're gonna add water to it, and at least the one that I follow is not. It tells you to reserve some of the water that you boiled, 2 cups of water that you boiled your beets in, and that is the water they're referring to, not tap water.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't necessarily spell that out. So
okay. Well, if we create some content, maybe we can somehow indicate that so people will know. It's the thing about that is there's probably 500,000 canning videos on YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. People have been canning since the beginning of canning. And so what you're doing isn't anything that you probably couldn't get information from elsewhere, but there may be a little nugget in there somewhere from what you do or whatnot. And it may be an opportunity for somebody to learn something. So we'll look and see if maybe we want to put something together regarding what you shot. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. And then you'll actually get the full recipe.
Yeah.
Because I may have told you something wrong, just trying to go off the top of my head.
Yeah, it might be that whatnot you threw in there.
That whatnot. I'm not even sure that salt is in there because I don't know that you want them salty. But,
yeah.
I think the vinegar and the sugar actually help with their preserving them.
Uh-huh. So how are the eggs going? Selling eggs still?
The eggs are going good. We are still selling 6 dozen every Monday. Mm-hmm. And again, we still have the lady that is coming up.
When is she coming up? Do you know?
She comes up. I don't have a specific day, but it's usually the first or second week of every month.
Yeah.
And she takes basically up to 8. If I have 8 to give her, then she will take 8. Sometimes she comes up right after I did the delivery.
Yeah.
So she gets a little less.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice because the amount of chickens that we like to run is somewhere around 30, right? Mm-hmm. We've been higher than that. We've been lower, but generally around 30 is a pretty good number for us in the yard. And it works well in that composting context because I like birds. It wouldn't benefit us to have 6 hens and try to turn a bunch of compost because they're not all going to be working all the time. Mm-hmm. But some are dust bathing, some are out looking in other places where you're not building compost in the yard. But then there's some hens that'll be focused on digging and churning and doing what they do. And so it's nice to have that number of hens for us. It creates an abundance of eggs for just the 2 of us. We've got more eggs than we know what to do with. And so we sell the eggs, which what makes it nice there is that they're kind of, it helps to offset the costs for the feed. We don't really have to pay for feed. We buy a ton of feed a year and that'll feed our chickens.
It does. It's also, we sell them less than what you would buy in the store. Mm-hmm. And our chickens lay pretty big eggs.
Yeah, they're jumbo, mostly jumbo size.
Yeah.
Which is 73 grams is a jumbo size egg. And they're mostly 73 and bigger. Some are smaller.
The lady that I sell to, she lets me know how much she paid, but the eggs are these little tiny eggs. She'd much rather get them from us.
Yeah, they're probably a large size egg, what they call large or extra large, and they're going to be a lot smaller than a jumbo. Mm-hmm. You're talking 60, 50 grams.
If that, but yeah.
So, it's just really, it works well for us. We've got some additional chicks coming in September. So we've got a new crop going to be coming in. These girls will get rotated out because they're going to be not doing a whole lot this winter.
They're starting to look a little scraggly.
Yeah, some of them are.
Some look pretty good.
We might have to hit London up and see if he wants to sell us some of those brooded up chicks he's got coming, some of them hybrids.
There you go.
Yeah, it's cool. I think I'm going to do a dump run around here, Rebecca.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a while since I've done a dump run. And there are some things that are not going to fit in our garbage can that we send out every week.
Mm-hmm.
Some larger items that I think I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and say, you know what? I'm not really going to use that. And it's just kind of creating clutter. And so I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of people that make dump runs quite frequently, but it's been a while since I've done that. And I think that it's in order, because if you don't do that, pretty soon when you have a property, next thing you know, you have something leaning up against the shed over here that's just leaning up against the shed, or it's out around behind the shed in a pile.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, I'll use that someday.
Someday.
Yeah. And most of the time, I would say 95% of the things that people keep on their property like that ain't going to be used in 20 years if it's used at all.
Yeah.
It just sits there. And then more shit comes in and more stuff and more stuff. And the next thing you know, you've got things hidden everywhere. And I don't know, there's some things I know that I'm not going to be using. And so why not just make a dump run? Oh, I mean, like I've got stuff over here up against the fence line, some partitions. I mean, I'm not going to go through the list of things that I've got to throw away, because that would be kind of boring for me to talk about. Mm-hmm. But there are things leaning up against and laying in piles and things where I just need to get that shit out of here. Mm-hmm. So I'm at that point, right?
That's good.
Yeah.
It's time to clean up your sheds. We should really go through this, the shed that we have over on our,
I need to fix it.
Our east side of south side. See if I can get my directions. Out this door right here.
Yeah.
They can't see that.
I know.
But anyway, we have a shed and it's got the pool supplies in it, but it also has all of the supplies from the kids when they were showing cows. And I don't know how much of that we need to necessarily keep.
Well, put it on Craigslist.
Or
put it up on Craigslist. It's not worth throwing away.
We need to go through and look at and see what's in there. There might be a good chunk of what in there that needs to be thrown away.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's all stuff we can do. Mm-hmm. Make a dump run, And
then the shed itself needs a facelift.
It does.
Like me.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyhow, let me ask you this, Rebecca, and anybody else that's listening, give this some thought. What's one recurring chore that you would be okay never doing again? I know that there's things we all do on a daily basis and we all kind of love, oh, I don't mind doing this and I'm, blah, blah, blah. But what's that one recurring chore that you would be okay with never doing again?
Making dinner. I don't even have to think twice.
Okay. Okay.
And you?
Probably mowing the lawn. I'm not like Forrest Gump. I'm not, we got a lot of lawn around here. And so for me,
I mowed that lawn for free.
Yeah. When I mow the lawn, it takes me easy an hour and a half. That's just the front lawn. Mm-hmm. And then we've got the backyard. And then there's the pool. So it's, I like having the grass to add to the compost. It's a resource that I use here on the property to make compost. But I would just be okay not having to do that myself, because it's a monotonous time suck that I could be doing other things that I would rather do. So cooking dinner, huh?
Cooking dinner. I don't mind doing breakfast. I don't mind doing lunch, but I really, and I think in part is because I'm in the kitchen by myself and everybody else is relaxing. Mm-hmm. So I think that's part of it. But I don't know. I just am not.
Mm-hmm. William Zegley says dishes. He would prefer to just let that one go. Yeah.
I could let dusting go. As a matter of fact, I probably slouch on that a little bit.
Well, you only get one choice.
Well, I'm throwing in a second one.
Okay. And then Skane says that she doesn't know there's so many to choose from. Yeah, there's quite a number of things that you could probably add to that list, I'm sure. Just repetitive, like, oh, I just did this yesterday. I'm like, oh man. And it just never goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So yeah, dinner's one. It's like you got to eat.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to bother you, does it?
No.
Dinner's fine.
Dinner's great.
Because you're usually laying in the bed talking to Grok.
Am I?
Yes.
Is that what I'm doing?
You're talking to somebody.
Am I?
I can hear you.
What am I saying?
I can just hear voices back here. And they're not in my head. Don't go there.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Oh, God. Prepping homemade dog food is very time consuming. Huh. I wonder what you're making, Cindy. What are you doing to make homemade dog food? We make homemade dog snacks, like freeze dry them and stuff. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Chicken parts or, innards that we don't eat, like liver and kidney and stuff like that.
I could see where that's very time consuming because I'm sure she's making it fresh, which means that she's probably doing it daily.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about, you wouldn't have to probably do it daily, I wouldn't think, but let Cindy chime in on that.
Let her answer.
That's right. So let me ask you this, Rebecca. If you could grill a porterhouse steak for any historical figure, who would it be? And what one question would you ask them over dinner?
Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
they probably wouldn't want to eat the steak that I grilled because I'm not very good at cooking steak.
That wasn't the question. It wasn't about whether or not you can cook a steak.
I would say Lincoln.
You would?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's the question you'd ask him?
I would like to know. I would like to know things that maybe were a change that was, like we talk about how technology is changing. It's moving rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know in his lifetime what it was that he saw and how he felt about that. Was that a huge leap? Did it feel like a huge leap? We look backwards and we think the things, really moved really slow. But if you talk to somebody from back then and they're looking at an advancement, it might be grand compared to what we think it is. Because we're looking at things in the future and we're like, wow, it's moving really fast.
Mm-hmm. So you would ask them what specifically? I ask Lincoln what? What would you? Because I'm not following what you wanted to ask.
In his lifetime, what has changed? What has
changed
what has advanced from when he was, say, a little boy?
Yeah. To today, current, present, 2025?
No, because he's not alive. That up to when he passed. What is it that he saw in that time?
In his lifetime.
And, yes.
Oh, okay.
And how did he feel about those advancements? Was it huge?
Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
Because, like I say, we look at things that are going on and it's just like, wow, it's happening really fast. But then when we look backwards at things, we're like, man, that didn't move anywhere as fast as, say, like technology is moving right now.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I think if I were to have, it would be some historical figure like that. It would be like a Lincoln or one of the founding fathers, George Washington or somebody like that. I think I've talked about that before, that's who I would like to spend some time with. But yeah, it would be kind of cool and the question I would say that I would ask him is, you know, how does he think what they've created has shaped out? Is it what they had hoped for?
Well, he would have to have some knowledge of what was going on now.
Well, I would be having dinner with him in 2025.
Okay.
I'm not going back to when they were alive. I'm having dinner with them today.
Okay.
So that's how I'm envisioning the question. So I would be having dinner with one of the founding fathers in 2025, eating a porterhouse steak and asking them, is this what you had envisioned? Are you happy with how America has turned out?
Mm-hmm. So he would be just going off the conversation. Don't you think that it would have more impact if he actually had some time to experience?
Yeah. Yeah. And if we could spend 24 hours together, that would be great. I would love to spend 24 hours with one of the founding fathers and just watch their amazement at everything. Mm-hmm. Running water, flip a light switch. That shit didn't exist, man.
I know.
And so it would just be, it would be an amazing experience to spend 24 hours with one of those people and then sit down and have dinner with them and ask them, hey, is this what you had envisioned America would be? How do you think things have turned out? I mean, and have them watch the whole thing. Like watch the political process, watch how Congress interacts with one another today. Mm-hmm. Watch how our media is interacting with the public and the information that they're providing to us. Would they go, oh, this is amazing, these guys are doing their job, or they'd be going, yeah, this is not what I had hoped for? That's what I would like to do. That's who I would like to spend time with. That would be the ultimate for me.
You don't think that would be like an overload to pack into 24 hours?
It's not the point. The point is we would pack it in and then I would get a chance to ask him a question.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be a lot to pack in, but that's not the point. It's a hypothetical. And I'm just saying I would love to have 24 hours with a founding father and then to ask him that question. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it'd probably be a lot to pack in, but I think they could handle it. They were brilliant men.
They were. Yeah.
So that's kind of my my thought on that. I was going to bring this up and we have cameras on the car, Tesla.
Yes.
And I happened to be looking the other day and there was a car that pulled up and a dude got out of his car. And to me, it looked like the door swung open far enough to hit the car. And so I had mentioned to Rebecca, she was at the store and I called her and she went and checked it and didn't see anything. And it's understandable why you didn't see anything, because you had to be in just the right light in order to see anything. Mm-hmm. It's very it's like hardly nothing there, but it's something there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I was going to ask you, what would you do? What do you do when you pull up next to somebody's car? Do you fling the door open? Or do you hold on to your door to ensure that it doesn't hit the car next to you, regardless of whether the car looks like it's new or it's old? What do you do? What does the average person do? That's what I want to know. That's where my mind goes on this.
I don't, but he was an elderly man and he probably was using the door to support himself.
Didn't look like it when he got out of the car, because I was watching him.
Well,
he was pretty spry looking. He's about our age, so if you want to say we're elderly.
He was not, because he came out and got in his truck and left, and he's not. He was quite a bit older than we were.
How much older do you think? 70s?
70s or early 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm the type of guy that doesn't like to just let my shit go like that. But there's a lot of people that do, and I don't know, that's what do you do? Do you hold on to your door, or do you pay particular attention when you're in a parking lot and you get out of your car so that you don't let it slam into somebody's car?
I do not let my door. And if it does, I also check the car to see if I did any damage to it. But I would say it's very rare that my door is going to hit a car that I'm parked next to, because I don't.
Yeah, I think the majority of people are like that. Most people are considerate, but there's a lot of people that are just not, and they don't really care, you know?
So this is another thing that I do too. In the event that the door might open up and hit, I usually put my hand on the door where it's actually a buffer between the door and the car. So it's going to hit my hand.
Right.
And that's typically what I do.
Sure. Yeah, Skane's chimed in and she said that she holds on to her door. And I think that the majority of people probably do that, right? I mean, would you, if you pulled up and it was a really nice car, would you pay extra attention, or would you? I mean, I would if I pulled up next to something that's like, oh, that's a pretty nice car. Yeah. Right. That's like a Rolls Royce or a Bugatti. You know, that's not a car you see every day. Are you just going to be like, oh, I'm driving this shitty old Ford Courier, I'm just going to let my door fly open and hit the thing? Some people would do that, is all I'm saying. So whatever. It happens. It happens.
It is very, very, very tiny. And you do have to be, I mean, you can be standing and looking at the side of the car and not see it. So you really have to be at a particular angle in the particular light to see that there is a little tiny dent in the door. Yeah, no, it's very slight. And, you know, what it looked like to me is it looked like the guy kind of looked like, oh, did I hit the door? And that's why I called you. I'm like, it looked like that dude hit the car. So he like looked, he didn't see anything. So he probably didn't, you know, it's whatever. I'm not going to say anything, but you know, it is what it is. There'll be more, I'm sure. It's just the way it is. Well, I do try to park it all the way out. I don't have a problem walking. So yeah, I try to park it all the way out. It's kind of amazing. Even when you do that, people that want to park right up next to you. Yeah. I know. It's like, dude, there's a parking lot. Like, go over there. A whole entire parking lot. You could have parked anywhere. Yeah. Hey, so speaking of Grok, did you know why Elon named it Grok? I do not know why he named it Grok. It's kind of a weird name, is it not? It is a weird name. I actually was going to ask it if I could change its name, but I haven't yet. Yeah, I don't think it's going to let you do that, because it was called Grok because it comes from Robert A. Heinlein's or Heinlein. It's a science fiction novel, Stranger in a Strange Land, and where the term grok means to deeply understand something or someone, often with empathy and insight. It was coined by the Martian language in the book to describe a profound, intuitive grasp of a concept or experience. And so his AI company, XAI, chose this name for the AI to reflect its goal of providing insightful, helpful, and truthful answers that help users better understand the universe. So there's something behind it. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. It's not just some weird Elon thing. I mean, it's weird. Elon's a weirdo. He's different. He's a different dude, but there's a reason and a method to whatever he's doing. So it's in the car now. And when I picked up our grandson, I decided to put it on the kids' storytelling. And I gave it some parameters so it could tell him a story while we were in the car. So I told him that I wanted it to be about a little boy. I gave him the name, gave him the color of the hair and the eyes and the shirt, and that he wanted to grow up and be a fireman. And so she went through this whole story. She goes, "Oh, how exciting." And then she gets to a certain point where she stops and she says, "Do you just, you see a squirrel and it's in distress. Do you want to help the squirrel, or do you want to continue riding in the fire truck?" So it's interactive. What do you want to, yeah. And so you get to choose. Anyway, so the whole story is like that. It goes, it stops, and then you get to choose what it is that you're going to go and do. So it's kind of interesting. It's fun. He loved it. Yeah, that's neat. That's neat for sure. And Skane says it doesn't matter what kind of car it is. I totally agree as well. Right. Yeah.
I think I'm a little bit more perked up when I see a car that's like brand freaking new
Mm-hmm.
and it's like there's not a scratch on it. I'm going to be like extra careful, but I'm going to be careful nonetheless.
Yeah.
Because, you know, whatever car you're driving, that's your piece of equipment. That's your possession. And it doesn't give me the right just because I pull up next to it to be a careless asshole and let the door fly out of my hand and bang into your car. But it happens. That's what happens when you park in a parking lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So kind of discouraging, but
Yeah. So anyhow, I'm going to get to Q&A. We're going to talk a little Q&A right now, Rebecca. Question and answer segment from tonight's broadcast.
All righty.
So I had put out a short. I think I might have told you about it, but it was basically saying and asking the question, do beets taste like dirt? And the reason why I said that is because you always say that they taste like dirt. And I know that beets are, man, it's mixed reviews from the community, I would say. When you bring up beets, people either love them or they can't stand them. They're like, oh, those are disgusting, or people love them. And it just seems like there's no middle ground. People are very opinionated about beets. But I just got a comment here, I don't know, about 4 hours ago from the Fishin' Attic 7106 and said, yummy, pickled beets are so tasty. Rebecca doesn't know what she's missing, LOL.
Oh, I know.
And I would say, yeah, she probably knows. But, you know, like most things that actually taste good and are good for you, Rebecca doesn't like. So we're just going to move on from the beet conversation.
Oh, right.
But I did. I'm a Christian. Here we go. Beets do taste like dirt unless you pickled them. Then yummy. Yeah, I agree. And that's how she makes them, is she pickles them. And you pickled all those, right?
I did.
Yesterday? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them you just canned them, right? They weren't pickled because you ran out of pickling supplies or whatever.
No. Oh, there's one. There was one that I had just not enough beets to even fill the jar. And I had a little bit of the canning liquid.
So it was a partial jar and you just decided.
Or the pickling liquid. And so I went ahead and put them in together and just kind of shook it up, but there wasn't enough of the liquid to actually kind of pickle the.
Right.
Anyway, they're in the refrigerator.
Yeah. Also had another comment here from Quiet Chaos 88 and says, I love beets. Ever made kvass or kvass? I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's spelled Kvass. And kvass is a traditional, I had to look this up because I had no idea. I'm not from Ukraine, so I don't know. But it's a traditional Eastern European fermented beverage made from rye bread, yeast, sugar, and water. It has a slightly sour, tangy flavor and low alcohol content, typically under 1.5%. Often dark and effervescent, it's popular in Russia, Ukraine, and other Slavic countries as a refreshing drink. Sometimes it's flavored with fruits, herbs, or spices, and it's also used in soups. Historically, it was a staple of peasant diets, valued for its nutritional content and long shelf life. So, I'd never heard of that before, but it sounds like just like a kind of a low-tech homesteader type pruno, if you will. Mm-hmm. Just basically you're taking some yeast and sugar and basically fermenting it. And you can actually use beets as well in it, because I further asked the question, can beets be used? Oh yeah, sure, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know, maybe it'd be something worth trying, at least just for an experiment to see what it tastes like. But sounds kind of gnarly, doesn't it? Pretty hard.
Yeah, you got to give it a shot.
Hard Scrabble. Yeah.
Right? You going to give it a shot?
If you make it.
No, I'm talking about you making it.
Yeah. Let's see. I've never tried borscht. I've heard of that. I don't know what that even is though. Borscht. You know what borscht is, Rebecca?
I don't.
Mm. Yeah. So anyhow, that's Cabast.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say that I'm probably not going to run right out.
Yeah, we don't need to run right out, but it'd be kind of fun to just try that. I'm saying fun for you.
Oh yeah, it'd be tons of fun.
Yeah. I've got this long form video showing how I made a maggot bucket, and the video kind of ebbs and flows in popularity. Sometimes it gets a lot of people watching it, and sometimes it kind of tapers off, and then all of a sudden it'll kind of blow up again for a little bit. And that's what it's doing right now. It's got a lot more people that it's being shown to. And occasionally I get questions regarding it and or comments. So here's a comment that I got, which is more of a comment, more so than like any kind of a question. But let me dig this up here in my phone, because I got it here on my phone. And this is from JF8250. It says, I clean out my coop daily with a hoe and put the waste in a tub without a lid. Every day my hens jump up in the tub and scratch around eating the maggots. I throw any cracked eggs and straw in as well. There's little smell. It's only yard flies, no black soldier flies. Fresh maggots hatch overnight. I mist it with water to keep it moist. And if it starts getting more than a few inches thick, I shovel out the fine manure and age it for my tomato plants. And what I would say about that is, man, go out there and just do it, right? If you are raising chickens and thinking about composting, go out there and try to do some stuff, because whatever this person's doing is different than what I do. Mm-hmm. Right. But there's nothing to say what they're doing isn't working completely, like perfectly for them in their context. And there's a lot of different ways to make compost. There's a lot of different ways to clean a chicken coop. There's a lot of different ways to find ways to feed your chickens, and if you're creative with it. And that's what I would say regarding this particular comment. And it's more of a comment than a question of sorts, but I just responded by just saying, nice, that's awesome. Because, there's more than one way to skin a cat when it comes to composting or raising chickens or finding ways to feed your chickens creatively. Mm-hmm. See what one person's doing and then take it and make it like your own. And
just don't go out in the coop with some crackers in your hands, because they will snatch them.
And that's precisely what I've done in this setup that we have. Kind of started in one direction, and then it's kind of evolved when you find out what works best for you. And we're still refining it, but that's cool. I love that question or comment. I'd
like to know how many chickens he has. Sounds like a lot of work. Cleaning it every day. Yeah,
I've seen people mostly kind of like on Instagram or whatever, right? They've got like a backyard setup. They've got their nice little coop. They've got their 3 to 4 hens in their coop. And then I put down sand, and that's what they poop on. And then, it kind of clumps up, and then they come in there with the little scooper, and they clean their shit up every day. Right. Mm-hmm. If that's what you want to do, then that's fine. I'm not saying that doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. We have too many chickens to be running around trying to scoop up all their poop every day. We do more of kind of like a deep mulch scenario in our coops, but I don't really allow it to get too deep, more so than a couple of tiers. Mm-hmm. Right. And then I'll clean it out, put all fresh stuff in there. And those tiers typically take, I would say I clean the coop out maybe once every 3 months. Some people go an entire season in their deep mulch system. They'll just keep adding layers of carbon over the top of it when it starts to get kind of ammonia.
Mm-hmm.
And then that'll just cap everything. And then at the end of the season, then they'll clean it out and put it on a compost pile or put it out back and let it, further decompose or whatever they're going to do with it. But yeah, man, there's no wrong way to do any of this, in my opinion. You just got to go out there and try it. And so what this person's doing, I think it's fantastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's whatever works for you.
Yep. I'm a Christian says borscht is beet soup eaten in the Ukraine and Russia. Yeah, I figured it was like a Russian thing. You want to make some borscht?
I'll run right out and do it for you.
It's probably simple, I'm thinking. I mean, it can't be complex. These people don't have a lot of means, man. We're talking impoverished Slavic countries. It can't be too high tech. It's probably really hearty and good for you, borscht.
It probably is.
It sounds like it would be hearty. Yeah. Let's see. I'm a Christian says, what do you recommend for keeping the chickens cook in summer? I don't know what that means. What do you recommend for keeping the chickens cook in summer? What do you mean cook? Oh, cool. Okay, I got to read the next line where it says cool. Yeah, what we do here is, we just provide them, shade. So we've got canopy. That's very important.
Mm-hmm.
If they're in a coop, coops can become pretty stifling, so if you have your chickens isolated in a coop, that's not ideal, just because, again, it's going to have ammonia build up and you're going to have chickens in there confined in a hot, environment. So it's best to be able to get them out where they're going to get fresh air and have a little bit of room to move. But definitely shade is probably the first thing that you can provide them.
And you run a sprinkler in there too, which kind of helps cool down that area.
Yeah. No, I do. And the compost is, it's usually always in a damp state. And quite frequently what I'll see the chickens doing, particularly if it's a hot day, is they'll be over there dust bathing in that cool, moist, compost.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the best place for them right there on some cool soil. And then if it's like super hot here, what I'll do is I will go out and actually squirt the chickens down. I run a sprinkler in there almost daily, usually for an hour or so, just to kind of keep everything, the compost, I don't want it drying out. I want to keep moisture in the yard. So when I'm doing my watering around here, I will ensure that I do that. But if it's like extremely hot around here, we're talking over 110, I'll go out in the afternoon and I'll give them a shot, kind of cool them down, or turn the sprinkler on so that they can get in it.
And two of them are wire. So they're open. This would actually be for evening time. So they're open. And then the one is an actual wood coop, but it has windows on either side. And those can be opened up where a nice cross breeze can come through when they are put up.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps them to cool down.
Yeah. It's good to have the ability to have ventilation in your coops,
Mm-hmm.
And the ventilation that we utilize is, what do you call it? What do you call that stuff? I'm drawing a blank. It's the little tiny little 1 by or 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch hardware cloth. That's what I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
for. Yeah. So it's just hardware cloth that is the windows in the coop, and it provides ample cross breeze and ventilation.
And keeps them safe from predators being able to get in.
Yeah, there's no predators getting through that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's primarily what we do here. And then I would also just do your research and try to get chickens that are going to be heat hardy, ones that are going to tolerate heat. So some chicken breeds are not that great when it comes to dealing with the heat. We've had like bad luck with Buff Orpington. That's been a breed that just did not do well for us in the heat. They're just, I don't know what their deal is, but we lost a number of those. But we've really never lost any of the Novagens that we have. They seem to survive or weather the storm, if you will. They run around with their wings out, with their beaks open and their tongues hanging out. They're hot. They're trying to cool themselves. But I mean, we have weather here that will get over 110, sometimes 115, and we've never really lost any. But it's by providing some of those things that I had previously mentioned. I think it's important that you pay attention to that. Borscht, yeah, I'd never had it, Cindy, but delicious, huh? Might look into that, Rebecca.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
You might think it's better than a hamburger. I don't know.
So, Skane's girl, you have to send me your recipe.
Let's see here. I got another question, I think. Or no, this is actually just a comment. This is from a coop cleaning videos that I put out a couple of years ago, I guess. And this is from Seamus6994, says, liked and subbed. I watched a good documentary about wildlife in Africa. After there is a large grass fire, hippos and many other animals will walk by the charred grass and lick the black ash off. The animals knew instinctively that it was good for them. And what they're referring to is, in this video, I talk about putting charcoal in their bedding and in areas where, they have access to it. And they will occasionally eat it. They'll occasionally just snack on it. They're not going to overdose, but they'll consume a little bit of it, as most animals will. Pigs will do the same. Cows don't really instinctively go for it. I've never really fed it to our sheep, so I can't speak to that, but you can add it directly to their feedstuffs in the percentage of about 1% by volume. And it's going to be good for their gut. It's going to be good for their digestion, their microbiome, all of those sort of things. It's going to reduce the amount of emissions that they emit off, all the methane and stuff, their cow farts, right? There's going to be less of that, so they say, in the studies that have been done. So, but yeah, animals out in the wild will do that. They'll rub on charcoal. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to char. And so that's one of the reasons why I do it here. It's a free resource. It's fun. It's good for the overall health of the property and the animals. So, yeah. Any questions?
No, I just find it interesting that it was about a hippo. We were watching hippos last night. Right? Getting fed watermelon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think they're pretty cool. If I had more room, I'd probably want one if they were legal to have.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. I like them too. They're a cool looking animal. Yeah. Moving on. The next is a comment as well, and this is from a video titled "Permaculture Soil Secrets: Chicken Compost Comfrey," and something else. But this is from Cindy Jean 3208, and she says, "Hello from Nebraska. I came across your video. I appreciate your no-nonsense, informative videos. Being self-sufficient is not easy, but incredibly rewarding. Just subscribe to your channel. Be blessed." And yeah, thanks for watching, Cindy, and welcome aboard. Welcome to the channel, and thanks for the kind words. It's always nice to get comments like that, and we get them fairly frequently. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to know that people are out there and they do appreciate the effort of putting together content. Being a content creator takes work. It takes effort. It takes time.
Yes.
So I haven't been taking as much time as I had been in the past for a variety of different reasons, but I do appreciate when people come into the channel and they appreciate the videos that are currently in the library. And so, yeah, welcome to the channel.
Yeah, welcome. I would say for us, there's, kind of depends on the things that are going on and where our time gets spread. as far as how much content gets put out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. So this next segment is a newly created segment from last week, and it's called Homestead Dilemmas. And so I'm going to hit Rebecca with a couple of questions here or scenarios, and I want to see how you respond to these scenarios. I've actually, since I put these scenarios together, I have a little bit of a head start on you as far as what I would do.
You usually have a head start on me.
Well, you can do show notes next time, and
That's okay. You do a great job.
oh, well, thank you, appreciate it. But you guys at home can play as well, if you like. So ask yourself this question: you've been living in a tight-knit, family-oriented, intentional community focused on self-reliance for a number of years. However, you and all of the people within your community are living at or below the poverty level. A corporation has offered you life-changing money for you and your family in exchange for your property, which will be used for the development of industry within your community. This industrial development will be disruptive to the way of life for the members within your community and will make their lives worse than it already is. Do you accept the offer from the corporation and move you and your children to a better way of life, or refuse the offer in favor of allegiance to your community?
I would refuse it.
Okay.
Honestly. They're living in a lifestyle that they know, they're comfortable with. They know the people around them, and they're comfortable with those people. And to have that expanded or uprooted, especially depending on the age of the children, to uproot them would be very disruptive, regardless of the money.
So you would choose to stay in the intentional community and forego the money that was being offered to you?
Yes.
Okay.
And you?
I would do the opposite. I would take the money.
Really?
Yeah. You know, and here's my rationale for that. I know that sounds pretty harsh. I know that sounds pretty harsh because presumably you've been living with these people in this community, building this thing, whatever this thing is. But here's the reality. You're living at the poverty level, at or below the poverty level. So that means your children might possibly be going to bed hungry at night, might possibly not have the things that they need, might not possibly have a better way of life, which could be afforded to them. And so you might be sacrificing that in favor of staying with a community that for however long you've been with them hasn't really improved your way of life. So what's the point of you being within this community? Is it just camaraderie? Is it hanging out with them? Is it safety and security? You could have safety and security and probably a much better way of life for you and your family. It's life-changing money. So in my way of thinking, that means, you know what? That could be generational. So I know it sounds harsh for me to say that, right? I'm turning my back on my people that I've been living with all this time. But my allegiance and my alliance is to my family. It's not to a bunch of other people. My family comes first. So that's what my decision would be. And it would be based on, you know, because here's the thing. When you have your clique, whatever you want to call it, a clique or a clan, those are the people that are going to be there surrounding your bed when shit goes down. That's who's going to be there. You know, who calls you, who's there for you. It's your family. If you have a tight family, I know that's who calls me, right? That's who I'm in contact with the most. So that's where my alliance is going to be. It's going to be in that immediate circle. There's circles that go out as does in any like prepper group, right? You've got your mags and all the different layers of the onion. Like, hey, we let these people in. They know a little bit more than the other people because we trust them more or whatever. But everybody, in this intentional community, I mean, maybe some people, blood isn't thicker than water, but for me, in the way that I'm thinking, life-changing money.
Yeah. Well, I know people who have lived their life at what you would consider the poverty level. However, they have been able to finance themselves and actually not go to bed starving and be able to provide for their family.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in a small, knit, close, and they're doing fine. They're living at the poverty level, but they have, like I said,
would it change your opinion if I were to say that your kids went to bed hungry most nights?
Possibly. Possibly. But
no, I understand what you're saying. I fully grasp what you're saying. And I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong and what I'm saying is right. I'm just saying the angle that I'm coming at it from.
If you're able to work with your finances and keep them minimal, you don't need a ton of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And kids are happy playing with one another,
mm-hmm.
and they've got food to eat. It's very disruptive to their life to get up and move them somewhere else and take them from what they know.
Mm-hmm.
So to do that just because of money, I would have to say no. I would keep my kids where they're happy.
That's provided they're happy and you're happy.
Yeah,
and everything's cool. Maybe I should have read more into that to lead you down that road, but I wasn't trying to lead anybody down any roads. I'm just trying to see where you're coming from. And I fully respect, that point of view, because I think that you're entirely right as it relates to many people live at or below the poverty level and are going to be just happy about that. Right. There's nothing wrong with being at that level. And let me say, I'm not saying that inherently is there anything wrong with that. I was trying to lay the groundwork to say your kids might not be doing very well. And if I had said that, maybe it would have changed your mind.
Yes, I don't want my kids to starve or go without anything.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that possibly would, but it would be a discussion. It would be a family discussion.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't just be me deciding, you know what, I'm going to take this money and you guys are going to move with me. It would be a family discussion as to how beneficial it was going to be for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What if you had, would it be that you had to have 2/3 of your kids in agreement, or do they have to unit out? All of them have to be in agreement.
No, I would say the majority.
Okay. Majority rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What if it's 50%? Do you at some point have to say, I need to pull the trigger? Because I'm the matriarch of this family and I am going to make the call because that's what my job is to make the tough calls. Or do you just put it over to a democracy within your family and say, well, my kids didn't really want to do that, or they can't make up their mind, so we're just going to stay put?
I would have to look at what it is that they're going to gain and what it is that they're going to lose.
Yeah. But again, you would be making that call.
I would be making that call.
Yeah.
But again, I know people who have, and let me say, when I say poverty level, I'm saying that's the income they have. The income they have coming in is at poverty level. However, they have been able to finance that to where they live in a fairly nice house.
Right.
Kids are taken care of.
Not saying
they have savings.
Yeah. I guess I didn't word the question enough to get you to tip to that point. I respect your decision. I respect your answer. But I think it probably would have changed if I had have led you down the road of saying your kids are going to bed every night hungry.
Yeah. I don't want them to starve.
Then are you going to be like, yeah, no, they like it here. They like playing kickball with Johnny down the street. Or are you going to make the call and say, as a parent, I need to do what's best for my family, because they're not adults here.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what they're saying. They're just, they're emotional about, they want this relationship to continue when it's not a good relationship for them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make that call as a parent. And so that's what I'm reading into it. You read a different thing, and I totally respect your, that's why it's a dilemma, right?
And I guess part of that is I went to school with very wealthy kids, but here I am. I'm in a family of 6 kids, mom and dad. It's a 3-bedroom house, 1 bath. They didn't have the income.
You were poor.
We were poor.
You had cardboard in the bottom of your shoes, huh?
I didn't have cardboard in the bottom of my shoes, but my shoes came from Sprouse Reeds, which were very, very cheap tennis shoes.
Yes. Sprouse Reeds.
And
Skane says she'd say no. She'd say no to the money. She'd ride in with her people. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. You got to roll with who you came to the party with. So, that's the whole part about it, London. There's a lot of layers to this. And, in any kind of a scenario like this, people can read into the thing what they, unless it's completely spelled out, like, hey, this is this, this is this, and this is this. There's a lot of interpretation still left in this. So,
my toys were 12 years old because they came from my oldest sister. So
you had toys?
I had toys, but like I said, they were 12 years old by the time they made it to me.
Yeah.
So those Barbie dolls were well used.
Yeah.
And my Barbie doll house was made out of a cardboard box.
Yeah.
So we made do with what we had.
Okay. So here's another question, kind of related similarly around money. And you've perfected a gardening technique that could make you very wealthy, but sharing it with others would almost certainly erase the opportunity for you to create generational wealth for your family. Do you keep your technique secret and monetize it, or share it freely, which would benefit everyone?
I would probably keep it secret to benefit my children. I may put it out there in a modified fashion, so they're not getting the exact, but my children benefit. They get a version of it.
So you're trying to walk the fence. You're not making a decision yes or no.
Well, it is no. I would not put it out there. My kids would actually be getting the full on because it's going to benefit them.
Mm-hmm.
And there would probably be some guidelines between it, because I don't want them to just go out and but what would I know?
Right.
If I'm gone, what they do.
What if I were to tell you that by putting this out, it would help everyone in the world? You would end world hunger.
Well, that would be beautiful.
What would your decision be? Would it be the same, or would it change?
It would probably change. I would love to help everyone.
Yeah. I think that would change a lot of people's mind, including my own.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I would have, similarly to you, monetized it. Right? That was my idea. Why am I going to give this shit to somebody else so other people can benefit? I'm not compelled to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was my idea. There's nothing wrong with me capitalizing on my idea and benefiting me and my family. That's called capitalism. It's called entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that. Many people do it. But on the other hand, if giving this information out freely would end hunger, that's a different game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yet you'd still reap no benefit in any respect from it. Not through endorsements, not through anything. I'd probably be okay with that. I could live with that.
So could I.
Yeah.
I would be all right with that, knowing that everybody else was all right.
And you know why I could live with that? Not solely the reason why, but I could live with that because I came up with a great idea once. I can fucking do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I came up with something that solved that. That's like some Elon stuff right there.
Yeah.
That's like he's not worried about if this one fails because look what he's doing over here. And so if you're the type of person that can end world hunger with some great gardening technique, there's a pretty good chance that you'll be coming up with another idea.
And you already know that if I had the opportunity to take in a child, if I was asked, I would do it. Even if you told me, no, you don't need any more kids.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done our part, I believe. Yeah.
Yes, but if there was somebody in need, I would do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be the right thing to do. Let's see here. Skane says, I wore me hand-me-downs occasionally. And I made my doll houses out of cardboard boxes, furniture out of matchboxes, and decorated with cutouts from the Sears catalog. Yeah, that's
or old scraps of material from the clothing that was, because my mom sewed my clothes. So yeah, there was always like little scraps of material that you could like make a little bedspread or something. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
I also had to ask, how come my pajama bottoms had a hole in the front?
Is that for your ding-a-ling?
That I don't have, because they were hand-me-downs from my brother.
Borscht is yummy, says William Zegley, if made right. Had some good, had some bad, while living in Germany for 10 years.
So is eggplant, supposedly.
Yeah, it depends on how it's made and what it's put in, but yeah. I'll have to give that a try somehow, I would think. What do you think, Rebecca? Should we give that a try?
Well, I'm waiting for Skane's girl to send me the recipe.
Okay. So here's a question, one more question, I guess. And it's as follows. It says, if your homestead had to rely on just one crop and just one animal to get through a tough season, what would you choose and why? Just one crop and just one animal. What would you choose and why?
I would probably go with a cow.
Okay.
So they're large, and they probably would take you longer to consume.
Okay.
And a crop. I'd have to go with potatoes.
Nice. Yeah, that's exactly what I'd go with the exception of the only other potential thing that I would maybe switch to is a chicken, but I don't really like chicken meat. A fraction of what I like beef. Beef is like probably one of my favorite meats of domesticated animals. Not a fan of the chicken meat. Obviously, eggs are cool, right? They just keep laying eggs. They're pretty easy to keep. Generally speaking, chickens are. But, to your point, a beef, if it's finished properly and it's of butcher age, you butcher one of those, man, it's going to last you through that season. And, there's so much more that you can do with it, in my opinion, from the standpoint of eating it. It tastes better. It's probably nutritionally, it's better for you. And then potatoes, I would say, is a good choice. I mean, there's other things that, you could possibly choose from that list, but, potatoes store well. They're calorically dense. They're going to fill you up. Um, yeah, they're kind of a winner as far as that goes. And steak and potato, tough to beat, right? Go grab some dandelions from the yard, and you got yourself a salad
or a bouquet of flowers.
There you go. Yeah, sweet potatoes. Okay. Skane says chickens and potatoes. Sweet potatoes. William Zegley says sweet potatoes and cow, like Rebecca. Yeah, sweet potatoes would be great too. Yeah, eggs do make other things, Scanes. So, I mean, there's really not a bad choice with a chicken. They're good. I mean, if I like to eat them more, it's not that I don't like to eat chicken. It's just, it's almost like tofu.
But if you're only having one, can you have more than one chicken? I mean, that's the way I was looking at it.
I see where you're going.
If you only had one chicken, that chicken's not going to take you very far.
Yeah, okay. I got you. Because that's how it was worded. But, I'm thinking maybe a little flock of chickens or something, right?
You better hope some of those are broody.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right, Scanes. Bill says, yeah, so does milk. Just made ghee. Just made ghee and cheese the last 2 days. Yeah, right on. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to make some cheese. It's quite a long, lengthy process, I think, depending on what kind of cheese you make, right? I've seen them make like mozzarella and stuff that's like, it doesn't take that long, but like to age cheese, to get your good aged cheese, kind of a long process.
I've never made cheese.
Yeah.
I've consumed it.
And Skane says you can quickly hatch more chickens. Yeah. Yeah, in 21 days. But the problem is that they take like 5 months to start laying eggs again. So I would still stick with the cow for the reasons that was already stated. Just better palatability for me, more enjoyable. I'm going to feel much more satiated on hard times eating a steak and potato than eating some old chicken or some eggs,
See, there you are, hating on the chicken.
I'm not hating on them. It's not my preferred animal, but they're a good choice for Homestead and probably a good choice for many in this context.
And then again, of course, you're choosing on where it is that you live. Maybe you don't have the space for a cow.
Yeah, of course. I mean, again, all of these types of scenarios, people are looking at it based on their own lens. And so there's a lot of different variables that can come into play with how people view the question and, what answer they provide. So yeah, there's no right or wrong on any of this. You know that. It's just, Bill says, get them, Rebecca. That's why I said cow. So would I, but thinking what would take me through hard times. Yeah. So, yeah, as I was saying earlier, a little less screen time this week, and I'm going to continue to do that. The average American, here's a stat for you, Rebecca. The average American checks their phone 159 times a day, even in rural areas, those that live in rural areas. What's one screen-free ritual or time that keeps you grounded?
I don't really spend that much time on my phone. I have to have it with me because it is the key to my car. But what brings me, I don't know if you consider it grounded, but brings me kind of security is that I can keep check of my account. I don't like thinking that something that's been ordered is going to get returned because the account balance is too low, or
You're talking about your bank account?
yes.
Okay. Yeah. I would say for me, the one thing that I really like to do is like not listen to, podcasts or music that much when I'm running. I mean, that's like, I do that sometimes, but oftentimes I much prefer to just be out there engaged in what I'm doing and just like have time for me to just think.
Oops. Sorry about that.
And just process my own thoughts rather than having something coming into my head during that time. Yeah. You don't have anything that is like that for you?
I don't necessarily need to listen to music or listen to a podcast when I'm running.
I'm not talking about running. I'm just saying anything else. It's not specific to running, just everything that you do.
No,
ritualistically.
That involves my phone?
That doesn't involve your phone.
Most of what I do doesn't involve my phone.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I could easily walk out.
So you don't look at your phone 159 times a day, so you're below average.
I probably am below average.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I hope to shout I'm below that.
I think that, I make sure financially everything is paid for and whatnot. I like to keep that
and then you're good.
Intact.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm good. And on top of that, it might be checking to see what the weather is.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
I'm pretty boring.
Yeah. That's good. Nothing wrong with being boring. It's exciting. Yeah. Yeah. But anywho, yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Rebecca? Should we wrap up tonight? Had a little conversation here between you and I, just sharing some thoughts on homestead dilemmas and homestead progress and different things that are going on here in the community.
It's kind of nice. You get kind of excited for things to come up and things to ripen as far as in the garden and everything. And then it's a little overwhelming because everything does come all at once. And so right now is like a nice time because things are kind of slowing down. And it's like, okay, you can breathe, you can relax.
Yeah.
Get other things done besides standing in the kitchen for hours canning or pickling or what have you.
Yeah. Well, what's up with those?
But then it's, kind of exciting again for something new to come through and you start the whole process all over.
Right. Yeah. Never ending. Mm-hmm. When are those figs going to be done? Started drying some figs the other day.
That's right. We have, 2 of our children were given a fig tree each. And because they were kids, those fig trees got planted at our house, even though they're their fig trees. So we have a lot of figs that are in right now. I have 5 trays of figs being dehydrated. I don't personally care for them.
Is that any shock? Something Rebecca doesn't like? Oh, we finally found something Rebecca doesn't like to eat. Better put that on better mark that one off. Good grief, man. I don't really like figs. I don't like beets. I don't like green beans. I
like green beans.
Okay. All right.
I'll even eat peas.
That's awesome.
I like Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
Okra. Now that can be somebody else's.
All right.
I can skip out on that.
Yeah.
But I also eat by texture. So there's. Let's just take whipped cream as an example.
Let's just say you're a picky eater.
No, whipped cream. It has a nice flavor. I really don't like the way it feels. I just don't like it.
Good grief.
Don't like it.
Here we
That's
go.
what I have to say. Those figs will be done by tomorrow morning.
Oh, nice. Because there's some more that are going to be coming off the tree here shortly. So that'll be good. Those are a delicious snack. What do? You cut them about, what would you say that is? About 1/8 of an inch or maybe 1/4 of an inch?
Maybe 1/4 of an inch.
1/4 of an inch thick, and just slices them with the skins left on, and then just lays them out on the dehydrator. And inside of 3-4 days?
No, it'll be about
3 days.
Maybe 2 days.
Okay, 2 days. And then we put them in like a container that's one of those vacuum sealed containers where you just push the button and it draws the air out.
Mm-hmm.
And then those are a delicious little snack that can keep you going for many months to come, depending on how many you put back. But
right. So if we have an abundance of them, we will vacuum seal.
Right. But see, just like the beets and everything else, those will be solely for me because she doesn't like them. But thanks again, Rebecca.
But I'll be the person that's dehydrating them and cutting them and taking care of them.
You are awesome.
He gets to consume them. It's a team.
Yeah.
It's teamwork.
That's right. But anyhow, I think what we'll do is maybe leave folks with this in mind. This is kind of almost a did you know, sort of.
Yeah.
But these are old phrases that we don't use anymore, but there's something behind them. Check this out.
We still use today and where they originated from. During the Victorian era in the United Kingdom, working class people were highly taxed. So many people's goal was to try to avoid paying it as much as possible. There was a slang word for tax, which was scot. So anyone who successfully avoided paying tax were considered to have gotten away scot-free. Also in the Victorian era, bakers were required by law to sell a full dozen loaves of bread, otherwise they would be punished for potentially ripping off customers. To make sure they never sold any bread short, the bakers would add an extra loaf to be on the safe side. And this is why today, a baker's dozen is 13 and not 12. In the early 1800s, rich people would often host dinner parties. If anybody at the party upset the host for any given reason, then the host would serve the unwanted guest a cold piece of meat, which was a polite way of telling them they are no longer welcome. This piece of meat was usually a shoulder, hence why we give the cold shoulder to somebody we would like to dismiss. In the 16th century, the popular nursery rhyme called Hey Diddle Diddle originated in England. In the rhyme it features a cow jumping over the moon as an expression of achievement. So in times of joy, people would refer back to this rhyme by saying they were over the moon.
Yeah, and there you have it. Some historical phrases from the past that many of us probably have heard for many years, and some of us probably still say to this day. And it's just always interesting to learn the origins of some of those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And London says that he loves the Did You Know segments. So, yeah, that's awesome. And we love the fact that you guys were hanging out with us tonight and coming in to hear us chop it up and have a little banter back and forth. And we hope that you guys have a great week moving forward. We're going to try to do that. We're going to try to be as productive as possible. I've got some big plans to get things squared away in the chicken yard, because ultimately I've got some plans potentially down the road to maybe go out and do some things that will take us away from the homestead for a minute. So we'll just kind of see how it all shakes out. But yeah, excited about what's on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Rebecca?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the chicken yard turns out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see how quickly it takes the chickens to figure out the automatic doors to go in and out of. I think they'll actually pick it up pretty fast.
Mm-hmm. They'll figure it out real quick. Yeah. I've got a little plan on what to do for day one, and then after that, they'll figure it out. They won't have any problem getting in there and knowing that's the new entrances to their palaces.
Mm-hmm.
But that'll make our lives a little bit easier, I think. And yeah, I guess we'll leave you guys with that. Thanks again for joining us tonight, guys. And remember to, I was going to mention this. I had a guy who received some comfrey from us, and he'd indicated that some of the comfrey that he got, it didn't smell very good, I guess. He was indicating that it didn't smell right. And then, he thought that it wasn't, it hadn't come up yet. And so, I still think it's a little bit early. I think that's partially my problem, my fault for not indicating in my instructions that I send with our orders that I ship out for comfrey. But, when you buy comfrey roots, they're going to take a little bit longer. And sometimes they can take a month and a half, 2 months to show themselves. I've seen comfrey that I've planted. It'll take 2 months to come up, depending on the time of year, depending on the size of the cutting. So presumably his comfrey probably will come up, but I'm not going to argue with the customer, and I'm just going to send him another order. I want him to be happy and feel like he got his money's worth. So that's how we're going to handle that. But I'm going to be changing, the instructions on what I'm sending to people, just so they have a better understanding of, what comfrey is going to do. Because I also sent him a giant crown free of charge, just as, hey, here you go, man. Here's a crown. Thanks for the business. And that thing's gonna put out foliage in no time. You put that thing in the ground and it's going to be pushing shoots up, in a few days. And so the smaller the root, when you get a small cutting, depending on the size of it, that's where all of the energy is stored. And first, that root cutting needs to send out roots. It needs to shoot roots out to try to get itself established. And then once it does that, then it's going to start pushing out foliage, pushing out its solar panels. But, with a smaller root cutting, you're going to have less energy contained within that. And it's going to take a little bit longer sometimes. So again, that's something I just wanted to point out, but I'll be sending a new order out tomorrow to him. And if any of you have any desire to get anything comfrey wise, feel free to place an order at porterhouseandteal.com. And also, we are all sold out of the Lavender Sky, and we are all sold out of the Lemon Breeze soap. Mm-hmm. I've taken that off the website. And I'm not sure if Rebecca's going to be making any more of that. So we'll just play that by ear, but we still do have a little bit of the other, the espresso self on there. So if that's something you guys are interested in, get yourself a little comfrey and a little soap. You're more than welcome to join us.
Absolutely.
But anyhow, I'll leave you guys with that, and go out tomorrow and make tomorrow better than it was today. Make yourself a little better on the front side. And remember, homesteading is not harmful content unless YouTube says it's harmful because it's a little too close to realistic.
And then live life and be free and treat them or show them differently. That it is not harmful content.
Okay, guys. We'll see you.
Bye.
Later.